What happens when the best-selling jet in aviation history can't be built fast enough to satisfy its own success? That's the question Airbus customers are facing once more, as fresh reports reveal that deliveries planned for 2027 and 2028 are now expected to slip by several months. For an industry that runs on tight schedules and razor-thin margins, a delay measured in months isn't a footnote, it's a chain reaction waiting to happen. The aircraft taking the heaviest hit is the A321neo, the largest and most in-demand member of the A320neo family. Airlines that had already adjusted their fleet plans around earlier delays are now being asked to wait even longer. A frustrating echo of a pattern this industry has lived through again and again this decade. The decade Airbus couldn't catch up. To understand why this keeps happening, it helps to rewind to the years following the pandemic. As global travel demand roared back to life, airlines rushed to place orders for fuel-efficient single-aisle jets, and the A320neo family became the centerpiece of that buying spree. Today, more than half of all orders across the entire program belong to the A321neo alone, a staggering concentration of demand on a single aircraft type. But surging orders created a problem of their own, a backlog so large that Airbus has struggled to chip away at it ever since. Year after year, the company has set a target of building roughly 75 aircraft a month across the family, and year after year, that number has remained frustratingly out of reach. Engines missing in action. At the heart of the slowdown sits a stubbornly persistent issue. Engines. Two engine makers supply the A320neo family, Pratt and Whitney and CFM International with its LEAP 1A, and both have struggled for years to deliver enough power plants to match Airbus's assembly pace. Without an engine, even a fully finished airframe is just an expensive piece of metal sitting on a tarmac. This isn't a new headache either. It's one that has shadowed the program since the early days of the Neo family. Combine engine shortages with reworked fuselage panels, limited tooling capacity, and the everyday friction of a stretched supply chain, and it becomes clear why hitting contracted delivery dates has turned into one of the hardest problems in modern aerospace. Manufacturing. Grounded giants. The glider problem. Out of this engine shortage came a strange and very visible symptom. Gliders. These are aircraft that have rolled off the assembly line looking complete in every way, except for the engines hanging where they should be. Without power, these jets cannot fly, cannot complete testing, and cannot be handed over to the airlines waiting for them. Rows of nearly finished planes sitting idle have become an oddly familiar sight at Airbus facilities over the past few years, a visual reminder that building an airplane today requires far more coordination than simply assembling parts. It's a costly, frustrating bottleneck, and one that has yet to fully disappear from the production picture. Too popular for its own good. There's a strange irony buried inside this story. The A321neo's biggest problem might actually be how much everyone wants one. Its larger cabin, extended range variants, and strong fuel efficiency have made it the backbone of countless airline growth strategies, which is exactly why the order book is now stretched out into the 2030s. High demand should be a dream scenario for any manufacturer, but it has instead exposed just how difficult it is to scale up production to match. Every additional complexity, from longer-range modifications to tighter testing requirements, adds friction to a system that was already running close to its limits, turning a popularity contest into a production nightmare. When delays become damage, for airlines, these delays are far more than a scheduling inconvenience. Fleet renewal plans, route expansions, and retirement of older, less efficient jets all depend on new aircraft arriving roughly when promised. And when that timeline keeps sliding, the financial and operational fallout spreads quickly. Some carriers have already taken the dramatic step of pursuing legal action against Airbus over missed delivery commitments. Indigo's recent admission that its A321XL jets won't arrive at the pace it had hoped for is just the latest example in a long list. The damage isn't only financial either. It chips away at trust, and it leaves airlines scrambling to patch together capacity using older aircraft or costly short-term leases. A familiar story across the fleet. If this all sounds like déjà vu, that's because it is. These fresh A320neo warnings have landed just weeks after separate reports revealed that the A350 widebody program is facing its own set of delivery delays, suggesting this isn't an isolated hiccup but a structural challenge running through Airbus's entire production system. From single-aisle workhorses to long-haul widebodies, the common threads are strikingly similar: supplier shortages, manufacturing bottlenecks, and demand that has consistently outpaced the ability to build. It paints a picture of an aerospace giant fighting the same battle on multiple fronts at once, with no quick fix in sight for the remainder of the decade. What comes next? So where does that leave the airlines, and the millions of passengers who'll eventually fly on these jets? Likely waiting a little longer, watching delivery dates shift further into the future, and hoping that Airbus can finally turn the corner on the supply chain issues that have defined this entire decade of aviation manufacturing. We'd genuinely love to hear what you think. Are you frustrated by these endless delays, or do you see them as the inevitable cost of building one of the most popular aircraft families ever made? Drop your thoughts and your own flying experiences in the comments below. Hit that like button and subscribe to the World Documentaries so you never miss our deep dives into the stories shaping the skies. We'll see you in the next one.